Okay, so we have Kelly here who has been coaching with me now for just about 6 months now, and she's been super, super nice to do a video. And she's just going to start by saying a sentence or two about yourself, so for people just watching the video.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm obviously Irish, but I live over in the Cayman Islands. And yeah, so Sarah explained I started with Sarah 6 months ago now. And yeah, here I am today.
And tell us a little bit then what you were doing before you started the coaching, where you are in terms of like your training, nutrition, or what you were struggling with at the time why you got in contact, what were you struggling with?
Yeah, so I guess just probably my whole 20s was filled with different diets, slimming worlds, starving yourself, no carbs, all that kind of stuff. And I just did like tons and tons and tons of classes, endless classes, just always trying to lose weight. I was always a little bit heavy. And I guess then I kind of got to an okay weight really, but it definitely wasn't sustainable. Like, I wasn't skinny, but it wasn't sustainable because it meant to lose that kind of weight. The only way I knew how to was to go to endless classes, get up at ridiculous hours, kind of starve yourself and just limit everything. And then I moved over to the Cayman Islands then and kind of let go of all that, and gladly so, but unfortunately I put on a lot of weight again. I put on over 20 pounds when I moved here in the first almost 2 years. So it really, really, really got me down. And again, I just went back into some old habits of joining gyms where I was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and doing a class, and then I'd go to work and straight after work go to another class, and I'd constantly try starve myself during the week so that at the weekends I could go out and drink and eat whatever I want. And it was just this vicious cycle, week on where I'd lose a little bit of weight and then I'd gain it all back on, because I just had no control over, I had no knowledge of how to just kind of live a healthy, like manageable, maintain life without just this horrible binge, starve yourself, eat loads kind of cycle. And that's just when I just thought I just need someone that like knows what they're doing, just for some guidance and accountability, I guess, as well. And yeah, so then a friend of mine just recommended that I just follow you, Sarah, on Instagram, and I did. And just like personality wise and just things like that, I just knew that Sarah would kind of suit. Not that it makes much of a difference, but a female as well is kind of always nicer to start out on. So yeah, and then I just got in touch with Sarah and she very kindly took me on.
And say with you, that like vicious cycle that you spoke about was constantly on, off, and then getting so far, coming back, and then trying these very, very restrictive routes to get there. Yeah. What impact was that having on you, that constant going back and forth?
It was just so upsetting most of the time, because you feel like you might get somewhere. I'll just explain as well, over kind of living this island living, it's extremely social. There's a lot of parties, there's a lot of drink, there's something on every single weekend, and it's Friday to Sunday. It's not just, and then when I moved here first, it was constant week drinking. And like, I mean, I just had no idea how to manage that. So like, it was so upsetting that like you were out here having such a good time and everything was so la-di-da, but at the same time you're just piling on this weight and you've no idea how to manage it. So you'd literally just eat nothing. Like, you try your best to eat nothing during the week, binge then at the weekend. Like, you'd have to eat out because you're out in the pubs and things. You'd get back to Monday and you'd feel horrible, you'd feel guilty, because you've just overindulged at the weekend. So you'd try just immediately go back and do 10 classes in 1 week and try eat very little, just to basically try make up for that binge that you did. It was really upsetting, very disheartening, just guilt, I suppose. Constant guilt is kind of how I felt, really.
That makes sense. And then say when you came on board, like we had our call then initially, we went through this kind of stuff that you were struggling with, and then when you finally actually started with me and we showed the social side of things, because you have a lot of social occasions you have to manage.
Yeah.
How did things change then when you actually did come on board? How did things change for you?
I was really surprised. Things changed in week 1. So I would knew how to track my calories beforehand. Before I started with Sarah, I used my Fitness Pal, but I was tracking because I was trying to basically only eat 1,200 calories a week, and I couldn't. It's just not possible. Um, so then again, you'd have that guilt again. So straight away, Sarah put me on like, God, it was like, and this is a deficit, like 1,800 calories, even more almost. I think it could have been 1,900 calories on my first week. And like I was eating all this food and I couldn't, and Sarah was like, okay, no need for all the classes now, we'll just do 3 days in the gym or whatever, which still wasn't even that big of a deal at the time. It was more nutrition. And it was just weird. It was like you could almost just relax because one, you kind of put that into, you've put that into someone else's hands so they can kind of almost do the work for you initially, which is lovely. It's always a plus. And you just have to trust then. So I just trusted that was going to work. So it changed within the first week. It was like eating much more and I just felt much better. I was very nervous because I was like, how am I going to lose weight on these calories if I've been starving myself? But I wasn't starving myself before that. I was eating nothing during the week, but I was eating double that at the weekend. And I just wasn't aware of it because I wouldn't track weekends. So it was really, really different. And I think it was, basically since week 1, I've had social events. So straight away, it was like, okay, what can I do during the week to help me get through the social events at the weekend in terms of food? And I didn't have to not go, or I knew I could still go out and drink, and I was just in so much more control. So from week 1, it was different. I lost weight straight away. I couldn't believe it on the higher calories. I lost weight. It was just all about just being able to, for kind of a professional to be able to give you that advice and that it's going to work. And it was just a lovely comforting feeling. I was on cloud 9 really when I kind of knew that's all you kind of had to do to be able to lose weight. It was a nice feeling.
Yeah, because you definitely, like, just for context, like, you have quite a social life, which is good. But say with regards to, like, there's so many other people that also have quite a social life, and they think it's always like, oh, once there's a social occasion, it's all off track and can't do much about it. So you see that, and you were still making progress in those weeks.
Yeah.
With weekends filled with social things. And just looking back at that, like, time frame of, like, even just your own understanding of learning about this and what you achieved, how does that actually feel for you to see that kind of progress?
I think it's so nice to be able to say, like, I mean, I know if I go now and go back to do 10 classes a week, I'll probably lose more weight in that week than I would had I not done 10 classes. But I'm going to be absolutely shattered. I'm going to be wrecked. I'm not really going to enjoy it. It's nice. I'm kind of in control now. I know if I want to add extra cardio, I will lose more weight. But I also know now that by good sleep, tracking your calories and being in a slight deficit and all that kind of side of things, you can still lose weight and make progress and not be miserable. You can still go out at the weekends. You can plan for your weekends. Even if a surprise event does come up, it doesn't even matter. You just go out, you get it done, and then you just get, I'm not even saying back on track the next day, because it's not even back on track. It's, you just get up the next day and carry on. There's no guilt anymore, really. Well, some weekends you might go way too bad, and of course you're going to have a little bit of guilt, but it doesn't last long because you just carry on as you would the next day, and it just catches up again next week, and it's great.
And then say with someone, like, because that's such a common cycle to be in, the binging at the weekend, the constant guilt of next week and nearly punishing yourself during the week first. If someone is in that same position that you are, what advice would you give to someone in that same kind of on off switch kind of cycle?
Oh God, just, I suppose, well, one, guilt isn't going to do, like, it's not going to get you anywhere. There's absolutely no point in feeling guilty about it. It's done. It's in the past. Move on. Learn from it. Remember how you felt after that weekend. And go out the next weekend, but just don't do the dog on it and just prepare for it. That's all it is. Just bank your calories during the week where you can. Make the right decisions. you know, you're going to have the exact same night on vodka and soda that you would on beer. You know, it's like, of course you can still drink beer, but just you can drink more vodka and soda. It's about learning that kind of side of it. But yeah, just don't let the guilt get in at you. I'm really bad for that. And it still happens to me now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not like a completely 360. You know, everyone still gets a little bit of guilt because you want to progress all the time. You want to, but you know, you have to remember that you have a life as well. And this isn't just a quick fix. And it's lovely to have found something that it's actually a lifestyle. And, you know, you can still lose weight every week while doing the exact same things that you want to do. Like in my head, I always had this, okay, I'll just do really, really, you know, solid month and I'll get the weight down and then I can do whatever I want afterwards because I'll be whatever size. That doesn't really work anymore. Like it doesn't, it like it, you're going to just put on the weight again. You're back to square one again. It's just really nice to just have learned how to be able to manage it the whole time. You know, I mean, I was eating Snickers bars yesterday, like, and it's fine. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm going to a brunch today, and it's going to be mountains of food and drink, and I'm not one bit worried about it. So, it's good.
Absolutely. I think that was really, really good advice. So thank you so much for doing this video.